Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to have to talk about what's going on with Supergirl. It seems to be tracking a little bit higher than we anticipated. It may not be as severe a flop as I reported a couple weeks ago. It's looking like it's going to outcompete what Mortal Kombat 2 opened with. It's kind of in the area where Mandalorian and Grogu might be. This is a changing roadmap for promotion, at least for Supergirl. The promotion is increasing awareness, and maybe more people will see it. But let's grab the story. Let's get to it. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I am trying to get to 50K, so please double check you're subscribed. If not, click the subscribe button and hit the thumbs up icon while you're down there. Hit that bell icon, turn on all notifications, and you should be good until it comes to time to comment. So, if you have some thoughts on this already, leave me comments below. If we have more thoughts at the end, let's leave another set of comments. So let's get to this. So, from the story, Supergirl tracking opens stronger than Mortal Kombat 2 as Mandalorian gets big bump. Now, this is from Matt McGloin over at Cosmic Book News, and he's usually a little more pessimistic than that. Of course, I'm usually a little bit more pessimistic than that. I can't believe this is getting any kind of traction whatsoever. I don't understand. I don't get it. But anyway, let's get to it. So, Supergirl box office tracking is in, and the early numbers do not look too bad for DC Studios and Warner Brothers. The first early tracking from the Quorum has Supergirl with 53% awareness and 48% interest as of June 26th release. Now, do you think that's actually going to happen? I don't. I think that you can have all the awareness and interest in advance, and it doesn't always mean numbers. And Quorum, of course, tracks these numbers and tries to make them relevant, kind of like Parrot Analytics, tries to remain relevant with just like inferences from things that they sprinkle with some wishful thinking, from social media platforms. It's pixie dust, basically. But they are tracking awareness and interest through audience surveys and giving an early look at what upcoming films people want to see. It's not a blowout number yet, but it puts the movie in a better spot than Mortal Kombat 2 was heading into release, which matters after that sequel underperformed at the weekend box office. And I would disagree with underperformed. I would say it performed about on par. It opened bigger, I think, than the previous film, and is likely to outperform that one. So that's a net gain. Supergirl tracking looks better than Mortal Kombat 2, and there's no arguments there. I'm not going to argue with that. It's 100% accurate. But Supergirl currently has an awareness score of 53, interest score of 48, and the comparison is substantial because Mortal Kombat 2 had 48 and 48. So it's not super substantial. I mean, just a few points on one side of the equation, but that is something that is going to make this film a little more competitive. Now, these numbers are going to keep going up as more promotion drops for Supergirl. Same thing with The Mandalorian and Grogu as we get closer to the release dates. Now, Mortal Kombat 2 opened to $38.5 million domestically. Actually, a little higher, but that's fine. According to the Box Office Mojo, anyway. And after early projections, had it closer to $50 million. Well, I think that I saw 40 and 45, so I think this is a little bit of a stretch, but okay. I mean, Matt's a high-quality journalist for the most part. I'm going to take his word for it that that's what he saw if he's relying on Box Office Mojo. I use the numbers, a little bit different. But anyway, Supergirl is still more than a month out, so DC Studios and Warner Brothers have time to push the marketing, which they're already doing. The awareness is there, but the interest needs to boost. Yeah, you have to get people wanting to see it. The problem is people are sick and tired of girl boss movies, something that I heard that people felt like Mortal Kombat 2 was a bait and switch with a girl boss. And I thought that was pretty well balanced and very much like the video game itself, but that was my opinion. Now, the trailers and featurettes have already started setting up Millie Alcock's Kara as a different kind of Kryptonian than Superman. Yeah, a drunk chick. It's a hot mess. Yeah, that's not going to sell very well. And the next few weeks will likely decide whether general audiences will show up. Next up is Mandalorian and Grogu, which I think this trope is a little tired at this point, but it did get an awareness bump according to the sub headline there. Now, the Star Wars movie jumped 6 points in awareness, bringing it to 52, while interest sits at 50. Notice how these are not like any higher than 50. Like 53 would be pretty high, but this is telling us some things that are like, are people going to go see it? They're aware of things, but that doesn't mean it doesn't translate into actual sales of tickets. And I think we're looking at the wrong things here. The movie opens on May 22nd, and yours truly will be doing a review for it. So the timing is important, and Disney is now about a week out, and awareness is moving up, and that's about where, the studio can just become more hopeful. And again, Disney will apply even more pixie dust than any other studio. You're going to start seeing like big push campaigns. You're going to see the normal shills and studio shills showing up on X and the other social media platforms. You're going to see the shills show up with their reviews, which are completely astroturfed, by the way. I'm not going to do that to you. When I see this film, I'm going to tell you about it. The bigger question is whether it is enough to revive Star Wars on the big screen, and I don't think it is. I think they cheapened it by putting it on TV, and some of the subsequent shows like Boba Fett certainly didn't help, let alone some of the other things that were politically challenging, like Ahsoka and The Acolyte, which was a complete piece of garbage. Anyway, for now, the tracking suggests that Star Wars might not be dead yet, and yet I disagree. Masters of the Universe awareness is up, but interest is still pretty low. That's not a good thing. I'm actually one of those few people that are very excited about this movie. I know some people might not be. I think it looks like it is going to be campy and fun, much like the cartoon. And I think that the same could be said for Street Fighter when it comes out on the big screen later this year. But if it's not tracking as well as, let's say, something like Mortal Kombat 2, we've got a big problem. And it's just, truthfully, it's not. You see, the movie has a 40 awareness score. It's up 2 points, but the interest score is only 41 and down 1 point. Not great. It's not a disaster, but it shows Amazon MGM still has to work before they get their June 5 release. Okay, and I agree with that. I'm not 100% convinced that the people that are the fans of the franchise from way back in the animation days aren't going to be pumped up to see it, because I think they will be. The He-Man brand has name recognition for sure, although it was much diminished by Mr. Smith. But the tracking suggests that the movie still needs to convince more people that it's worth seeing in theaters, which requires more trailers and better trailers. And guess what? One of the trailer companies just went out of business. Not good news for the movie business. Scary Movie and Toy Story 5 lead the chart. Although I'm not interested in either of these, there are going to be people that are going to want to show up. So there's no surprise here. Scary Movie 6 and Toy Story are going to be the top leads. And Scary Movie 6 has a 60 awareness, a 55% interest, and I'll be going to see it so I can review it. Toy Story 5 has a 68 awareness and a 59 interest, which I don't think is where Disney needs that to be. They need another strong performing Pixar movie. And I'm going to tell you, we never needed Toy Story 4, let alone this fifth one. I think some people are going to be a little sad here. Now, these are the strongest numbers on the board, which makes sense given the titles are from very well-established franchises. And Toy Story 5 also has the Disney Pixar brand behind it, as I mentioned just a moment ago. I'm just not sure or convinced that that's going to be the make or break that everybody wants to believe. There's a lot of other films and also rans coming out there, but there's one that I'm kind of disappointed with the interest in, and we'll take a look at that next. Disclosure Day has an awareness problem. Spielberg's Disclosure Day looks like the biggest concern on the chart. For me, that's kind of sad. The Universal release has only 23 awareness and 45 interest, with about a month to go before its June 12 release. Actually, it's just a little under a month as of today. And Matt Belloni of Puck also flagged the problem, writing that Spielberg's Disclosure Day has an awareness problem based on the Quorum's early tracking. For a summer Spielberg movie, this is a tent pole, and it should be, something everybody's aware of and wanting to go see. I want to go see it, but I like science fiction. I'm not sure that the rest of the audience has been exposed to proper science fiction like this in a long, long time. The numbers are definitely not where Universal wants them, and the studio still has time to fix it, but it needs some kind of marketing that's not, based on the mystery box kind of thing we've seen so far. I think that's where every one of these films is suffering. Regardless, the lead story being Supergirl may do better than I anticipated. It has room to grow in, the next little while before it actually releases, just a little more than a month out. And will it likely do better than expected? Maybe. I'm going to say that really, unless it is completely girl bossy and messy enough that it just pushes the guys away, it still could do okay in theaters. I'm not sure it's going to be profitable, but again, they're just trying to make a play for the streaming service there over at Warner Brothers. I'm sure HBO Max will have Supergirl real fast, and digital sales will probably be lacking. I'm not going to see a lot of people jumping on demand, PVOD, or any of the other stuff that's going to be available. So the next few weeks actually really matter for Supergirl and all these other films, because these numbers need to be much higher. We need a return to theaters in a big way, and none of these things are really, delivering. At least that's my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments section below. Are you going to go see Disclosure Day, the one I'm most concerned with and the one that I'm most interested in? Are you going to see Supergirl? Is it time for Woman of Tomorrow for you? You think James Gunn's prodigy Gillespie is ready to deliver? Do you think maybe DC might struggle if this film struggles? I don't know. What do you think about Toy Story 5 or 11 or 27? Do you think maybe we've hit the end of what this story could be? And do you think Disney takes another swing and a miss at a Pixar film? Because they don't seem to be delivering very well on those either. And of course, we have to talk a little bit about Scary Movie 6, because it does have a fan base that may be there in a big way. And finally, are you going to go see Masters of the Universe? I am. I'm going to do a review. So I'll see a movie so you don't have to, but I'll let you know if it's worth seeing, because that's my job. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya, hopefully at a good movie.